Hello, good afternoon. Um, Thank you so very much for coming on this renewed hope virtual conference. My name is J.K. Adebola, and I'm going to be your host for the next 2 hours. We are still admitting people into the conference because we still have a lot of people waiting in the waiting room. However, because it's it's usual for us every time we have a conference like this, we try to avoid what is termed African time or Nigerian time, if you like, by ensuring that we start our conference on time. So it's just 3 minutes past 4 now. So I have to apologize for starting rather late, which is unusual for us. But however, we are kicking off the program from now on. So once again, good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be your host today, like I said, and I just wish to welcome you to another of our usual virtual conference. This is what we do regularly to bring people from our government to come here and jojo with our people in the diaspora, especially because we have people joining us from across the globe, from Russia, America, Europe, even in Africa, just to come and rub minds together with all our officials from the government to keep us updated with their policies and the development programs that they have for us in our country, and for us to be able to throw whatever questions that we have to them, and for them to address whatever question that we have for them. So this is the essence of our conference. I need to let us know that we are streaming this live across all social media, and especially on Ben TV. And talking about Ben TV, please permit me to acknowledge the CEO of the first Black Nigerian TV owner in Europe. He's in the person of Mr. Alastair Soyode. He's always been a very good friend of the house. Every time we have any conference like this, he offers to stream it live for us, free of charge, of course. So for that, we say thank you so very much, sir, for your assistance. He's never tired to be of help to us. So we give you all kudos. Thank you so very much. I can see, as usual, we have a lot of people across the globe joining us today again. It's going to be a very packed program today because we've got our chief guest of honor in the house now. It's somebody that we all know. He was with us yesterday, but unfortunately, because duty called, he had to break the visit yesterday, and he promised us that he was going to be here from 4 o'clock to 6. And I can say to the house now that he has joined us because he's always a man who keeps to time. And like I said yesterday, I will repeat again that he's a man who needs no introduction. But for the benefit of some people who are just joining us for the first time, he is he's a special advisor to our president on media and publicity. He's a very gentleman who, from what we have come to know of him, he's one of those guys who, when he talks, you have no choice but to listen, because he's very analytical and he's very detailed in his information dissemination, which is a new one for us as far as government is concerned. And he's a fresh of breath air as far as I know. He's no other person than Chief Ajuri Ngelale. Chief Ajuri Ngelale, you are welcome to this program. Thank you so very much for honoring us again, second time in under 24 hours. This is very unique, and for that we say thank you so very much. Because of your tight schedule, which you told me earlier, I'm just going to permit me to bring you into the fray straight away, so that you'll be able to, because everybody's been, we are all eager since yesterday to hear from you regarding the programs of our government, especially the man Ajuri Ahmed Tinubu. Who is he? What is he as a president, and what policies and development programs does he have for Nigerians? I want to give you a free hand for you to talk to us for as long as you can, Then after that, we'll open the floor for participants with questions. I've already told them they have to write it down. I'm going to give everybody just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Write down your questions. You have 1 minute. All you just need to do is introduce yourself, who you are, where you're calling from, and go straight to your question. And I'll be taking 3 or 4 questions at a time, and our guest of honor will answer you. But first of all, we want him to open the floor by giving us a brief overview as to what the government is doing, what plans they have for Nigerians, both at home and in the diaspora. So, Chief Ajuri Ngelale, you have the floor now, sir. Thank you very much.
To rally our people from around the globe to provide a platform for our people to unite around the issues that commonly affect all of us. Let me begin by acknowledging all of our participants. These are dedicated Nigerians. These are citizens who believe in their country. And that has not always been an easy thing to do, given the history we have had with, maladministration and the like. First, I would say that to our dear brother who has graciously offered to air and broadcast this interaction on his television network, we say thank you to him. And more grease to his elbow as he continues to support the country. Now, to begin, I think I would start for want of time. Unfortunately, one of the things that I have found out as I've assumed office as the special advisor to His Excellency Mr. President on media and publicity and as the official spokesperson of the president is that what you often want to do, the demands of the office often will not allow you to do what you wish to do with respect to your time and how you manage it. Spending 4 years as a senior special assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on public affairs, one of the things that my primary objective and my primary function was to reach Nigerians wherever they are, local radio stations, national TV stations, national radio stations, everywhere I could go and engage with our people interactively, I would go and do it. And that's how I spent my days. I've not been able to have that level of time flexibility to do as much of that as I had in the past. But be that as it may, I'm grateful for this opportunity to do so. Let's, in terms of the conversation itself, I think there are a few things to point out. One is that, if you permit me, I would just remove my glasses. My son has just walked into the room. Malachi, give Daddy a moment, please. We're really focused on. One moment, please. Just one moment. Let me.
It looks like you're muted. Chief, you are muted. Please unmute yourself. Chief Ngelale, you've muted yourself now, so please unmute so that we can hear you.
Aha.
Yep. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Thank you very much. Quiet. Thank you very much. So let's start from the consumer credit system. One of the cardinal, promises made by President Bola Tinubu during the campaign was that we have an opportunity, a historic opportunity before us to really strike, multiple birds with one stone. We understand that one of the major motivating factors for corruption in our country, whether it is in the public service or even in the private sector, had always been that because of the skewed nature of our economy, we have asked our people to find sums of money that is far exceeding their legitimate incomes to access even the most basic necessities of life. When our people have to look for rent payment 1 year upfront, in the US it's every month. In most developed economies it's every month. In Nigeria it's 1 year upfront. Sometimes they will even ask you for 2 years in some situations, all upfront. Even as you're paid on a monthly basis, whether as an entrepreneur or as a civil servant or whatever it is that you're doing. This has created desperation to find sums of money that are just not available within the ambit of the salaries of our people. So that's one mode. Secondly, you want to buy a car, even if it's a Tukumbo, you're going to pay all of that money upfront. Nobody's going to give you a payment plan. The same can apply to, large-scale technologies, obviously refrigerators, heaters, generators, and obviously if you want a computer and all of these kinds of things, everything is upfront. Whereas in developed economies, these things are on payment plans. So what Mr. President said is, we can, first of all, when you build a road or you build a railway or you build a seaport or an airport or a power plant, these things are important, they are essential, we agree. But in some ways, if I build a road in Kogi, for example, the person in Kano may not necessarily be affected. You find that the interventions of government in one way or the other, you have to do all of these things. But oftentimes, one of the complaints I used to hear a lot when I interacted with our people on radio under the Buhari administration was, yes, we see Baba Buhari building infrastructure, he's building roads, he's building railways, he's building airports, Lekki Seaport, and so many other things. But my life is not improving. I'm not seeing income. I'm not seeing improved income. I'm not seeing, my actual standard of living improve, aside from the fact that maybe when I'm on the road is a little smoother. This was a complaint we heard a lot. The president said, look, we can deal with the corruption aspect, but we can also deal with the direct issues of the standard of life of our people on a day-to-day basis in a way that is unmistakable, in a way that nobody can refute. If our people are in a position to pay for things, in a credit, with a credit system, with the provision of a credit system that enables them to access things that they have not yet fully paid for, which is how it's done in most developed economies around the world. So what the president said is, look, we are going to create the fiscal space, store up the treasury required to ensure that we can finance a credit system that would enable Nigerians to access housing, cars, and other, fairly expensive commodities like that, upfront without having to pay all of the money upfront. This is the historic nature of the intervention that Mr. President has made, and he is committed to doing so, which is why he appointed as the CEO of the Consumer Credit Corporation, the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation. He has excuse me. Shh, be quiet, okay? He's on a call. He has, consistently demonstrated that, look, he appointed a 36-year-old young man, engineer Uzoma Nwagba, who was the chief operating officer of the Bank of Industry, who has been involved in microcredit schemes, including many of he was one of the architects that founded the Survival Fund and many of the other automated cash transfer processes that took out middlemen, that took out manual transfers of money, and all of that within the Buhari administration. He was the engineer behind a lot of that. So we now brought him. He is now the CEO of the Consumer Credit Corporation. And we believe that this is the time for Nigerians to be able to directly, in a way that is unprecedented, to access the dividends of democracy through the consumer credit system. Now, what is it going to cover? Yes, I mentioned housing. Yes, I mentioned vehicles, but it's also going to cover, medical services, for example. It's also going to cover, to some degree, things like, insurance. There are various elements of what we can cover through the provision of consumer credit. But the president is not just focused on the direct benefit to the Nigerian citizen. So if for example, the Consumer Credit Corporation is able to give, whether you're an entrepreneur or a civil servant or a lawyer somewhere or an accountant or wherever you work, as long as you can prove that you have a steady inflow, because we are focused not on an employment letter or something like that. What we are focused on is your inflow. So once you can show us your bank account, for example, and we're not looking for massive amounts of money at all. You show us your bank account, your bank statements over the last 5 years, and we can say, okay, based on what you have sent to what you have shown us, you have an average, monthly inflow of say 200,000 naira a month, or 100,000 naira a month, or 80,000 naira a month. That is the average over the last 5 years. Then we can accurately dimension that, okay, this is what we can predict this person can repay based on their actual income. So if someone is earning 100,000 naira a month, for example, and they want a car note or a credit facility for a vehicle, or that is worth 1.5 million to Kumbo or 2 million to Kumbo, something like that, we can actually, pay the car seller, right, the car dealer. It would be like a car dealership. We can pay them the 2 million upfront, and with that person who's paying who is making 80,000 naira, for example, in a month, we can say, okay, based on your income, we can take 20,000 naira a month, for example, that you will pay on a monthly basis until this car is paid off. Same thing with social housing. Under the Buhari administration, one of the things we found out was that you can actually provide a social housing unit for between 2 million naira and 4 million naira. With devaluation now, we'll say probably between about 3 million naira, whereas maybe it was 2 million naira yesterday, maybe it'd be 3 million naira now. But we can do 3 million naira. If you're a civil servant, you're earning 150,000 or 200,000 naira a month, we can actually take 50,000 naira a month, and you can be living in that 3 million naira house, until you pay it off over the course of the next 5 years or so. And then you have your house and you can focus on other things while you have leftover income that you can apply to school fees, feeding your family, and all of these other things. I mean, this is really the kind of direct beneficiation that no Nigerian government has ever been able to provide the Nigerian citizens with respect to the things that matter to them on a day-to-day basis. And this is what President Bola Tinubu is doing. Then the other side of this that I must explain to our esteemed listeners on this platform is that I think one of the most underrated aspects, when we think of consumer credit, and naturally a Nigerian citizen will be thinking of the good that they will be able to provide, that they will be able to access, right? A house, a car, and all of that. But on the flip side of it, on the other side of it, on the back end, what is happening is that we have now unlocked and created an entire new pool of demand for our producers and manufacturers. So now, if let me break this down for all of us. If I am an investor, right, over the last 25 years in Nigeria, if I'm an investor and what I do is I manufacture automobiles, for example, I'm looking at the Nigerian market and I'm saying, okay, if I invest my money to build a factory in Nigeria that is manufacturing automobile vehicles, right, and I know that 0.00001% of the population can afford to bring the kind of money they need to bring up front in order to buy this car. Maybe the car is 10 million, maybe the car is 15 million, maybe the car is 20 million. How many people can bring that kind of money out of their pocket to go ahead and pay for that car? It is a very, very, very small percentage of the population. So as a result, if I'm that vehicle manufacturer, I'll say, no, I don't want to build in Nigeria because there's no massive pool of demand. My demand pool is very small, just a very few people who can afford to buy these cars off of me upfront in the absence of consumer credit. Now, what is now going to happen is that that person would have gone to Egypt or South Africa or Morocco or Kenya or somewhere else where people can afford to offtake these vehicles en masse. Now, we have the largest market in Africa, 220 million people ready to buy goods, predominantly young people, 70% young people under the age of 30. What we now needed to do was unlock that pool of demand by providing this consumer credit so that when you have millions of people off-taking these vehicles that are being produced in the country, manufacturers are now looking and saying, wait, Nigeria has finally done it. They have unlocked that pool of demand. They now have people who can afford to buy these cars because there is a multi-trillion naira consumer credit system that is able to support the purchasing upfront on their behalf, which they will now be able to pay back installmentally within the ambit of their legitimate incomes. That is historic, that is transformative. And what it now means is that instead of having no producers in the country and having to import these finished cars, you're now going to have, or let me say, Innocent is an assembler, but I'm talking of core manufacturing, not just assembly again. You're now going to have thousands of assembly companies and manufacturing companies manufacturing these cars, employing Nigerians to manufacture these cars on a sustainable basis, because you now have sustainable demand that has been created by this consumer credit system to now take the sustainable production or supply of these vehicles into the market. Same in housing. So what you're talking about now is millions of jobs. We're not just talking about vehicle production. We're talking about housing construction, all the indirect jobs that will be created by the vendors who are supplying these construction sites with sand, with glass, with doorknobs, with nails, with all the various cement, with all the various inputs that go into building one single housing unit. And it doesn't end. Look, in the US, though, you have a country that's well over 200 years old, right? They are still building houses today. They are still selling houses, even though they have for centuries now. They've been building houses. They're still building. The demand and the supply cycle never really ends when you talk about housing. This is what we're just getting ready to start in Nigeria as a result of this historic consumer credit system. So on the one hand, the lifestyle and living condition of the average Nigerian family is drastically affected and directly touched by this act of government. But on the other hand, you are now opening the door to millions of new jobs that would not have been there because you now have a massive pool of demand to offtake the inventory of these investors who are going to be establishing factories and industries across our country. This is the future. So now, you deal with the consumer credit part of what I've discussed. Now, the other issue that investors, because the president is a businessman, and he's somebody who has unlocked investment in Lagos State as a public administrator. So he understands what the challenges are for business people, and one by one he tackles them. So one, we've dealt with a major one with the issue of demand, with consumer credit, the ability of Nigerians to afford these products, to access these goods and services, which will obviously spur greater investment in job creation and tax revenue for government moving forward. The next level, right, or should I say not the next level, I should say the complementary piece to that is that when you talk to the investor, he's saying, if I'm choosing between Nigeria and Egypt, or Nigeria and Ghana, Nigeria and South Africa, and some others. One of my major problems with the Nigerian market opportunity is that I know that if I build my industry or my factory inside of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I am already committed to paying maybe double or just under double what I will be paying to energize or electrify my industry, to power my industry, right? So now, affordable energy becomes very, very critical when Nigeria is competing with other countries for investment, promotion, and attraction. So what the president has now done is he has signed, as you know, in his first few months in office, to be specific, it was COP28 in Dubai, I believe it was November or so, when he witnessed the signing of the Accelerated Performance Agreement, Accelerated Power Performance Agreement with Siemens Energy, in conjunction with his counterpart, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, essentially, which dealt with the acceleration of the multi-billion-dollar agreement with Siemens Energy that was initially struck by President Muhammadu Buhari, but that was undermined by some bit of unfortunate power play by some officials within that government that unfortunately did not think it was in their personal interest for that particular agreement to work out at that time. It's one of those sad things that happened. But the president has looked into all of that. He knows what happened, and he's put in place the mechanisms to ensure that that is not repeated. So that is going forward. We have now in agreement for the end-to-end reconstruction of the entire power transmission grid of the country. That is the Transmission Company of Nigeria. The entire electric power grid is being modernized from one end to the other, totally, by Siemens Energy. In addition, we have some infrastructure coming in from them that's going to deal with our power distribution problems, which we all know is very, very pivotal in view of the fact that right now we have over 2,000 megawatts of consistently stranded power that we end up having to sell to other countries across the border because we don't have distribution companies that are able to effectively wheel in that available power that is there and send into the homes and businesses and industries of Nigerians. So, these are essentially the issues. Once you deal with affordable energy, and people know that they can have access to affordable energy within Nigeria. Nigeria is a no-brainer for an investor. They know that we have the largest market. They know that our market is made up 70% of young people who are ready to spend their money for goods that will enhance their ability to do business and to fulfill their own individual aspirations. They know all of this thing. Our problem has always been these self-inflicted issues of underinvestment in power, underinvestment in infrastructure, and all these things that have seen a turnaround from the time of President Muhammadu Buhari, though there's still a lot more work to do. Unfortunately, power was not one of those areas that we were able to make too much progress on within the Buhari administration. But the President Tinubu, is committed to say, look, if I don't achieve any other thing in this country, I will achieve this power thing. I will do it in my time. He has said so. He's very passionate about it. So, these are some of the issues. Then, aside from power, aside from consumer credit, I think a third major leg of what President Tinubu wants to do is dealing finally with, this issue of access to education. The president is very passionate about this issue for many reasons. For his own personal story, and of course, what he did as the governor of Lagos State with respect to, paying NECO fees for indigent families, making sure that, Nigerians of all social strata are able to access quality education. He's very passionate about this, and he still is as president. So what he's done, of course, as you know, is he has signed into effect the amended student loan bill, which has now kick-started in earnest the implementation and launch of the National Student Loan Program, which is obviously going to see to the empowerment of Nigerian students through the provision of tuition payments paid directly to the universities that they are attending, even as we are ensuring that the students themselves are paid sufficient stipends to cover their hostels, to cover even their living expenses while they're in the hostels. We don't want hungry students. We don't want students who are in the classroom but cannot focus because they cannot have the basic things they need to eat, some meals in a day. We need to ensure that they have those that access to food, they have access to their hostels, and that they can afford it. They can afford to pay back eventually when they are employed. After their youth service. But again, because Mr. President is visionary, because he considers all potential pitfalls ahead of time, he had also created a grace arrangement for those who are not immediately employed after within 2 years of leaving the youth service. He's created a grace arrangement where they can supply a sworn affidavit confirming that they do not yet have a job, to extend that period of recovery, that time of exemption of recovery of those funds by the NEL fund and all of that. But we've also said that our trust will not be abused by any Nigerian student, which is why we also put in the law that any attempt to defraud the system by saying you do not have employment when in fact you do, that once we are able to investigate and find out that there are incomes you are not reporting, that you lied on the sworn affidavit that is provided, that you will suffer the consequence of perjury, and indeed, the law will take its course. So this is both gracious, it's merciful, but it's also just and fair. We don't want anybody gaming the system, and which is why we're very adamant on, paying the universities directly and not paying, these large sums of tuition fees directly to the student, expecting them to do the right thing. We don't want to tempt people to do the wrong thing. We're not saying our people cannot handle resources. What we are saying is that you don't want to unnecessarily tempt anyone who may be in a difficult situation to misapply funds. And so that's why we've set it up the way we've set it up. In addition to that, because Mr. President is a nationalist, he's not the president of Yoruba land, he's not the president of Igbo land or of the North, he's the president of Nigeria. And because he sees himself as the president of Nigeria for all Nigerians, he also put a stipulation in the act enabling the amendment of the student loan administration to ensure that there's what we call the justice and equity, the justice and fairness provision, which ensures that within every calendar year there's going to be an audit of all the beneficiaries across all the institutions. Again, I've only mentioned universities, but I should mention here that it also deals with skills acquisition centers. It deals with technical and vocational education centers, where people are getting blue-collar skills in plumbing, in construction, in manufacturing, in carpentry, in trade skills that they can apply to earn a living for themselves and their families, and also to be able to take that learning and train others. So we're also going to be paying the tuition to such institutions for Nigerians who don't want to go through four-year universities, who don't seek white-collar work in the future, who just seek to apply the skills of their hands to be able to make a living for themselves. So everybody is covered. But the point I want to make is, within each calendar year, financial year, there will be an audit of all the beneficiaries to ensure that every part of our great country, all 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, that all indigents from all parts of this country have an equitable share of beneficiation within the student loan provision framework. We want to ensure that if you're from any part, any geopolitical zone, any state, that there's rhyme and reason. We don't want to say that because there's big numbers in the Northwest will take the bulk of beneficiation. No, we're saying that the spread must be equitable across region, across even religion, across gender. And even across, the question of whether one is physically challenged or not. These are all the considerations, ensuring that our women, our physically challenged, and all our Christians, our Muslims, everybody from any part of the country, that across all of these lines that we have over time drawn for ourselves, we like to call them artificial lines, because in the end of the day, we all have green passports as Nigerians, and that's what defines us. But across these artificial lines, we have made these provisions to ensure that federal character is fully respected and abided by within the framework of the student loan program. So I think the point here is that within the first year in office of Mr. President, aside from all I've mentioned, which is student loan program, which is consumer credit program, which is power sector accelerated performance agreement with Siemens Energy, which is I can openly state with confidence, as somebody who is closely monitoring, that it is being implemented as we speak faithfully, with no challenges so far. But let me also add that there are major infrastructure projects. The president did launch the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Development Fund, which essentially looks to graduate the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, PIDF, of President Muhammadu Buhari, but build on that to create something that is much more robust and something that effectively envisages the participation of the private sector. So what we are now saying is, we're not just taking government money through the PIDF to fund these projects, or just taking money from NSIA to fund these projects. What we're saying now is we are looking for investors around the world who are ready to bring their own finance, to counterpart finance major infrastructure projects in Nigeria. in a way that will they can also benefit from, because they're investments, right? So if we establish a world-class 6-lane or 8-lane expressway from Lagos to Calabar, for example, if we have a situation where we have counterpart finance from a private investor who will now say, okay, I will bring my money up front. Your federal government, you bring your money up front. We go 50-50. Then when we put the tolling on the lanes, for example, when it's done, and I've always said this about our people don't want free. We're not looking for a woof. We don't want free things. What we want is high quality service. If you give a Nigerian world-class service, he will pay for it. She will pay for it. Our own is but what Nigerians don't want is they don't want you to say, okay, you're going to pay for something you're not getting, as we have seen in the power sector in the past. That's what they don't want. So once you bring the service, they will pay. So once we have the world-class expressway and we put toll, Nigerians will happily pay their 100 naira toll, 200 naira toll, if they're saving hours on the road and reducing fuel and reducing car maintenance costs because of faulty road conditions and all of that. So this is the direction: infrastructure, consumer credit, the student loan program, the power sector reform program with Siemens Energy, and there are a number of other things I have not mentioned, or even the education reform. I wish we had more time to go into some of the nuts and bolts of some of these things. But as I speak to you, I'm heading out for another engagement that just came up this morning. So these are some of the things that are very, very important to His Excellency, Mr. President. Those, the common thread here, I must add this. The common thread amongst all of the policies and programs we're implementing to the letter that I have mentioned so far on this platform is that all of them directly touch the life of the Nigerian citizen. Directly. We're not talking about programs that sound good on paper that, yes, it's important to build a seaport. For investor confidence, to freely facilitate import and export. And by the way, that's another thing I've not mentioned. The president has voted $1 billion. And I'm not saying vote or where he just gave somebody money. Right as I speak to you, the program is being implemented. It's happening right now. Reconstruction of the major seaports in the country, including the eastern seaports, One, Warri, Calabar, and some others. That are being done right now under the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adeboyega Oyetola. He's currently overseeing a $1 billion seaport reconstruction plan that is happening right now. It's being implemented as we speak. In fact, if anybody on this platform Googles One Deep Seaport and Oyetola, they will see the news of what they went to go and commission in One Port. So they're working very hard already. But when we talk about, for example, port reconstruction, it's very important in the development master plan of the country. But when a Nigerian hears that, he says, well, that's good, but I don't know if it's affecting me, or that kind of a thing. But what we are saying is the president is focused on these programs I have mentioned that directly impact the Nigerian citizen. And by the time, we are very confident that in addition to the monetary and fiscal policies that have seen a total reversal in the decline of the naira, right? And the world's best performing currency over the last 30 days and all of that, people are seeing what is happening. In addition to all of that, the president is saying, look, be patient with us. We realized the first 10 months were tough. We had to go through a lot of hell to build a savings, a buffer, because of the mismanagement of the nation's finances within the Central Bank of Nigeria under Godwin Emefiele. We have had to do a lot of unusual and difficult things to be able to store up enough treasury following the reform in the subsidy regime, following the unification of the foreign exchange market, to be able to get to a point where we can now finance these programs that we're today talking about. If we had not taken those steps that had caused pain to Nigerians over the last 9 to 10 months, so sadly and tragically, we would not even be in a position today to be talking about student loan, consumer credit, and many of these other, very capital-intensive investments we're making in infrastructure and all of these other programs I mentioned. So, my fellow citizens, please be patient with us. The president means well. He works extremely hard. I see it up front. One of the reasons why I can't comfortably sit down on a platform like this without getting up and moving around and all of this is because I'm working for a man who is tireless. When you see a man of his age, 72, 72 in his early 70s, making the sacrifice he's making physically to sleep 3-4 hours a night, to attend all these meetings, to have all the time devoted to his files in the night. Nobody's there. When he's attending to his files in the night, he goes to the office in the morning. Constant meetings, courtesy calls, launches. He's at events. He's engaging with his cabinet members. He's engaging with members of the private sector. He goes home. He takes just a moment to himself before he goes to his residence office, sits down at his desk, and for the rest of the night, he's opening his files and working his files. This is the president we have elected. He's a workaholic, and I'm a first-hand witness of it. I see it. This is not a spokesman glorifying his boss. This is me telling you as a Nigerian who's privileged to see what the president is doing every day, what he's doing. I'm just telling you the way it is. And so, please, let us support him. Let us support him. He means well. All of us who work for him are motivated. Giving our best like he's giving his best. And by the grace of God, to achieve, we have no doubt that we're going to get to the end of some of these problems.
Thank you so very much, Chief Ajuri Ngelale, for that expansive explanation on vital issues that burden our minds. You can see you've covered consumer credit facilities, the power sector, infrastructure, and every other thing. I'm just wondering if it's possible for you to just maybe 2 minutes just to talk more about certain issues that I have before me that people have sent in to us. Security, for instance, agriculture, diaspora, which concerns every one of us on this platform, and economy stroke CBN. I don't know, maybe if you can just spend 2 minutes and give us an overview of your take on all of this.
Yes, I think what would happen is I think I'm going to join this platform again. I'm going to give you a date, and we're going to go, because I want to do justice to those sectors. As I've done some justice to the consumer credit and others, I think it's important that people have a real insight into what we're doing. I don't want to give you cosmetic coverage. I think people want answers with very detailed information. So now that we've dealt with these ones, on the next session, I think we can rightly focus on agriculture. I think we will focus on federal education policy, not student loan, no, not student loan, but federal education policy. I think we can focus on some of the other concerns that have been raised. Maybe after this meeting, maybe you and I will find time to discuss, and then you can mention those areas that were of interest to those who are on this platform, and then we can dedicate our next session to dealing decisively with those issues.
Okay. Thank you so very much. I think that's a promise we all had now. I will be talking to you later on, and we'll try to find a date, to bring you on again so that we can talk. Because believe it or not, like I said, you're always very detailed in your commentaries, and that is one thing that I cherish a lot, and that's why I was asking all of these questions. So I may even send you the questionnaires to my people so that you can, please. Yeah. So you can prepare yourself for it. So let's just move, because I know you're pressed for time. You told me that earlier on. So I just want to go straight to the question and answers now. But like I said to our participants, you have just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. What we want you to do is introduce yourself, where you're calling from, and just go straight to your questions. So I'll be taking 3 or 4 questions at a time before you provide answers to them. Thank you very much. So the floor is open now. I think the first hand that I saw was Dr. Suberu Ozigis. Caller Martin should be getting ready. Dr. Suberu Ozigis, you have the floor now. 1 minute, please. Just 1 minute.
Hello? Can you hear me, sir, please?
Yes, I can hear you, my brother.
Okay. Thank you very much for your. Let me go straight to the point, please. I have only 5 questions, but they are very, very short. Can I start?
Straight off.
Yes, please. Number one of my question is that the Honorable Vice President Shetima participated in the Africa-Russia Summit in 2023. What was the agreement with Russian Federation? We would like to know. Number two, in March 2023, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Nigeria visited Moscow to speak with Lavrov, that is the Russian foreign minister. And we would like to know what agreement was reached, because he did not have meeting with Nigerians here. He refused to meet us. So Nigerians here were very surprised that how can the Minister of Foreign Affairs came.
We seem to have an issue with Dr. Ozigi there. If you can hear me, it looks like you've muted yourself. Can you please unmute so that you don't eat up your 1 minute? Dr. Ozigi, can you hear me? Okay. I think we seem to have lost him there. I think next in line is Kola Martins. Can we please unmute Kola Martins?
Yeah, the question I want to ask is Professor Akitoye, who is leading the self-determination movement for the Yoruba nation, wrote a letter to Mr. President. I want to ask whether this letter has reached Mr. President, and what do you think about it? I also want to ask about the security.
Uh-oh, I don't know what's going on with the system today. We seem to have lost her again. Next one. If you can hear me, madam, can you please unmute yourself? I don't know, maybe.
Next one, sir. Next person.
Hello?
Next person.
Okay, well, let's go to Otumba HOO now, please. Otumba HOO, you have 1 minute.
Thank you very much. Number one, I want to state my own 100% support for the progress, for the governance of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has my support till the day he finishes his term of office. But then I also want to say that as a Nigerian in diaspora, I spent 54 years here now. The question is, what is going on with diaspora's voting? When are we going to get to that? I know it might not be directly under the management of the gentleman, the spokesperson for the president. And second, and the other question quickly is, I have no doubt in my mind that as a Democrat, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not say nobody can talk, but any idea, suggestions, the design of anything that can bring Nigeria and Nigerians to best governance. And that will include that people that have idea of what they think about rearranging, agreeing about the country as a whole. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much. I will take one more question before we allow our chief guest of honor to answer now. I think Adewumi at the SAS studio will have the floor now. Please, 1 minute, and if possible, just one question. He promised he's going to come back to us. So just one question, and I'm sure when next he comes, we'll have enough time to be able to ask more questions. Thank you very much. Adewumi at the SAS studio has the floor now. Then we'll yield the floor to our special guest of honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, special guest of honor and the hosts. I've been your admiral right from Channel Television to be a thorough person. Yeah, quickly, I want to ask that you've given so much information about what the president is doing, and this has been the routine. We hear so many things that previous government have been doing in Nigeria, but sometimes I wonder how we communicate this, because being a Black person, having the communication on newspaper pages, on social media in terms of text, African hardly read those lines. So many things you mentioned today, sometimes it looks strange for me that, oh, this is going on. How have we been disseminating this information down to the grassroots? My mother in the village, or probably somebody who is not as literate as I am, might not be able to get this information. So why are we not using the medium that is currently on now. I think Jerry Ghana and Frank Iweki Jr. used this medium during their own time in terms of getting people who are into acting, the influencers, to repeat these informations in a manner where people will get information and decode it. So many things.
Thank you very much. It looks like we have an issue with that as well. I think we'll just use the floor now to our chief guest of honor to answer all of the 4 questions before we go to the next set of questions. Thank you. Chief Ngelale, you have the floor now, sir. Looks like you're still muted, sir. We can't hear you. If you can just please unmute yourself. I'm not sure if can Honorable Gushe or Honorable Deme, can you please help out with the with our special guest, because we can't seem to hear him at all.
I'm not sure he's still on the platform.
Uh-oh.
Just trying to cut him.
It's technical. Wow.
He might have left the platform.
Maybe he got caught up or something.
Yeah. He has left the platform.
Yeah. I can't seem to find him here. Probably got caught off or something. Oh Lord. Okay, I'll try and see if I can reach out to him now and see if he's trying to come back on.
Yeah, I think I just got the message. He got disconnected.
Yes.
So actually he's coming back. So yeah,
he's coming back now,
disconnected. He might be coming back soon. I don't know. Let's just keep on a few minutes.
Let's just hold on a while. I'm sure he will come back. The Nigerian network sometimes is can be very funny.
Good evening, everyone. This is Udeme Ukbe. Please, I just want to ask, please, that if you want to ask a question, can you please put on your video so that it's really, good for our special guest to at least put a face to who is talking. It's just courtesy demands that he's on video. He's been speaking to us for the past few minutes. So it's just good for us to have that, our videos on so that we know who is talking. And please let us limit our questions with our time frame now to just 1 minute if we can. Thank you so much.
I'm just trying to see if I can connect with him again.
Now.
It's back now, yeah?
No, it's not back yet, but it's trying to coming back now.
Okay.
Hopefully, might be lucky.
I sensed when he was talking earlier and there was some kind of cracking or something from that end. So I guess it's probably got to do with the network there.
And then maybe let me just keep this one here. I'm one of the co-hosts assisting Sajeke Adibola. And next week is going to be another event. We are looking at next week, Saturday. The flyers will be out as soon as on Monday evening. Next weekend, we have a big fish in the house. from the federal government of Nigeria as well, from Abuja. So we'll be having one of our leaders from Abuja on the program as well. So we should be getting ready for the program. I don't want to preempt you so much for now, but we have another program coming, and you will be hearing again from the horse's mouth to know what is going, where we are, and what are we doing. So next week, I will be having Malame Lanre Isa Onilu. That is the DG of National Orientation Agency, the NOA. You will know that that is the agency that is very important for the country. During the last administration, the agency virtually disappeared. But now with the President Tinubu in office, the agency is back, fully back, doing its job. And you know, with this type of agency working hard for the country, at least there will be a better way of passing the information, whatever is happening, to the people that both in Nigeria and in diaspora as well. So next week, by God's grace, we should be expecting Mr. Onilu on this platform as well. So while waiting for Chief Ngelale to come back, I want us to prepare our mind for next week's program, and I'm sure it may not be as busy as Chief Ngelale, like just coming and going like this. So promise to be eventful, promise to be explorative as well. So please prepare yourself, prepare your mind, prepare your time as well. Please just quickly mark your calendar to be able to be sure that you will be part of us next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my co-hosts, Honorable Gushe and Honorable Udeme. Thank you so very much for keeping it. I've just sent a message to Chief, our special guest of honor now, because it looks like it's the network that's playing out. Hopefully, by the time he comes back, it will be to be okay. Like my co-host said earlier on, next week Saturday is another day, so please keep it locked. It's going to be from 5 to 7. We'll be having the DG of the national. Okay, I think it's going to come back now. Of the National Orientation Agency, anyway, Malam Isa Onilu. He's going to be with us too to talk to us about nationality and the rest of them, and things that we need to do as Nigerians to show how patriotic we are about our country, and what his department is doing regarding sensitizing Nigerians about patriotism and the lack of them. So please make it a date with us next Saturday. We'll try as much as possible to bring people, the VVIPs from our government, every other Saturday, to come and update us. Oh Lord. Okay, he just ministered to me now. Apparently he's go. Okay. Wow. I think it's the duty call thing that came on again, because he said while he was off now. Sorry about that for that breaking my own transmission too. I had a call now. Apparently, what happened was he's coming back now, obviously, but just for a few minutes, because he's had another call from the presidency, from the president again. So he may not be able to stay with us for the whole evening. I guess he sensed that earlier. That was why he was talking to us that he would like to come back again the third time. So I think it's always nice to have him, but he's coming back shortly now. Maybe to deal with the questions that came up. But then he's not going to be staying with us for the whole evening. So on his behalf, I need to apologize to our participants. we knew this was probably going to happen because of the nature of his job, because he's the right hand man to the president, and he gets called he's at will, and if duty calls, duty calls. I think it's the same thing that happened yesterday when he came on, and that was why he decided to adjourn it till today. Again, the same thing is happening. So hopefully by the time he comes back the next time, that he'll be his diary will have been very, very clear by then, so that he will have enough time to be with us. Just please bear with us. He's coming back, definitely. I've just had a message now that he's coming back. So he will come back, and maybe not for the whole 2 hours, but at least he's going to come back to us. And since he's promised us that he's coming back the third time, so let's hope that third time will be for the whole 2 hours. But whatever happens, we're going to have some kind of some fun here tonight. At least, even if he goes away, we can still do a bit of a discussion before. Okay, I think I've just admitted him now. He's coming in now. Welcome back, Chief Ajuri Ngelale. Welcome back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, my dear people. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I had a flood of calls coming to my phone at that moment, which disrupted the network.
Okay.
And I've been called into my next engagement.
Okay. So you just have to flow now for as long as you can take now, just on the questions I've been asked. Then we'll take it from there, sir. Uh-oh. We seem to have ceased again. Maybe I think the network is still playing up. So please bear with us while we try to fix this. Wow. Yeah, I think it's the network playing up, and the fact that he's had another call up again. I'm not sure what's okay. Just give me a second. I'll probably send him another message now to see if you can still make it back. Okay, I've just sent him another message now, so hopefully he'll get back to us. I'm sure this time is again is the network, because he froze for a while before he dropped out, and hopefully we'll be able to join us again. Then we'll take it from there. So please bear with us, and we all know how what the network is like in Nigeria, and it seems to it's taking a turn for the worst now, but hopefully at some point they'll get our technical crew from we'll see what they can do to to bring it up to some level that will be manageable for us. Thank you so very much for your patience. I'm sure he will, as soon as he sees my message, he's going to get back to us. We have a lot of hands up, and I'm taking note of all of you. And if for any reason we're not able to take all your questions today, please don't be discouraged. He has already promised us that he will come back the third time. Maybe on that third time, we'll ensure that everything goes smoothly. Touch wood. But just let us have it within our minds that he is coming back the third time. He has already given us the promise. He promised us yesterday he was going to be here today, and he's here. And he's made another promise that he's going to be here the third time. So he's a man of his words. He will come. But in the meantime, like we said earlier on, next week, Saturday is another date. We have the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Malam Isau Nilu, who's going to be with us from 5 to 7 in the evening on Saturday. Please put that in your diary and make sure that again it's going to be the same format where everybody will have the chance to ask him questions, so that he'll be able to deal with all the questions that we ask of him. And like I said earlier on, we will try as much as possible to make this a weekly affair. Depending on the availability of the people from within the government, we have a couple of them lined up already. But then it depends on what time, what their schedule is like. But I can confirm that next Saturday, Malam Isa Onilu, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, is going to be joining us live and direct. And it's going to be between 5 and 7 on Saturday. The flyer for that will be going out, if not tonight, maybe at some point tomorrow, being Monday, so that you have enough time to prepare yourself for Saturday. It's going to be happening on Saturday from 5 to 7. So I'm still waiting for a response from our guest of honor. As soon as he gets back to me, I will let you know. Again, I think it's the network that's playing the devil again today, and we just have to try and bear it with us, and we try and see how we can manage the situation and make sure that as soon as he gets back on now, at least we'll be able to answer some of the questions that have been asked. Thank you so very much. Let me maybe I can just use this time now to acknowledge some of the people that have joined us. Most of our regulars. I've seen leaders from the UK here. I can see Honorable. I saw him earlier. Councillor T.S. Bedabiamila, thank you very much for being part of this. Engineer Labode Jones from Russia, thank you very much for being part of this. Francis Mountain Fly, I believe that is from Manchester. Thank you for being part of this. You're all welcome. A host of other leaders that I see here. Thank you so very much. Your presence is always very welcome. We appreciate your support for this program, and it is because of your constant participation that's making us now to want to make it a weekly affair now, so that at least we'll always be having these people on our program to be coming here now to be talking to us to giving us to be giving us updates on what the government is doing and what programs they have for us, and we too will be able to ask them questions. Engineer Bola Babanide from South Africa, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for being part of this. For always coming on each time we call upon all of you. Honorable Michael Williams, thank you so very much. Reverend Samadewumi, thank you everybody. It's been lovely having you guys on this program. If I don't mention your name, please don't be offended. Because I've got over 100 people there to mention. So I'm just trying to see if I can get our special guest of honor back on again. Let me try and see, because I'm not sure if he hasn't even seen the one I sent earlier. So that can only mean one thing, that the network itself is still playing out, because it hasn't even been delivered. So well, we just let's just keep being patient. I'm sure at some point he will he'll be able to join us. But in the meantime, it's like I said, next week Saturday we're going to be having another VIP. The Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Malam Isa Onilu, will be with us. He'll be talking to us regarding patriotism, nationality, and the rest of them. So if anybody has any questions for him, please try and get it ready. We will work on the network part of it and try and see if there's a way we can manage, what's happening today. Hello, sir. Hello. Thank you so very much for your patience. I've just sent another message to him now, and hopefully that the second will be delivered, because I'm suspecting perhaps maybe his phone or the network. It has to be either with his phone or with his network. But in the meantime, because we have so many hands up, which means they all have questions to ask, and because this program is being recorded, we might as well just go ahead now and be calling on people to fill their questions now, so that we will be sending the recording to him, and every responses that he sent to us, then we will be passing on over to those who sent in the questions, because I don't want us to waste this time or to miss the questions that the people have, because we believe every question is important. And let me go back to the question floor now, and call on Honorable Michael Williams. Honorable Michael Williams, you have the floor now. And like I said, you have just 1 minute. Introduce yourself, where you're calling from, and ask your question. In the meantime, you have the floor now, so please unmute yourself. Honorable Michael Williams. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good day, everyone.
Yeah, good day, sir.
I'm Michael Williams from Cheltenham, England, UK. My question is very brief, not too long. I thank Ngelale foremost for actually incorporating and letting us know, acknowledging the good work President Buhari has done, and also how President Tinubu is carrying on with the good work and managing very well. It's not easy, but it's cool. But my brief question is, I want to know what's going on with Renew Hope, page 70. regarding the Nigerian diaspora voting rights. I really, really, really want to know what's going on, because we've done a lot, we've done a good job, and you yourself, barrister, you've done brilliant work, and Prince Adeomonde also did his best everywhere, tireless, day, night, everywhere. So our compensation for that, we don't need money, we don't need billions, we don't need anything, but what we need is right to vote, Nigerian diaspora. I want to know what's going on with that promise. Is it going to be delivered, or we should just look away from it? That's it. And however, and what's with Prince Adeomonde? Why is he not being fixed for the brilliant job he's done, and you done with him as well? So that's just the brief question I want to know for now.
Okay, thank you so very much for being very, very brief. Thank you so much. Next in line would be iPhone Demola. iPhone Demola, you have the floor now. Again, 1 minute, please. Thank you.
Sorry for interjection, sir. I mean, you need to put on his camera, or maybe I need to just move on to somebody else.
Okay.
Okay, it's on now.
Okay then. Thank you very much. You can unmute yourself now and speak to us.
Okay, thank you very much. I've heard everything, and I commend you for the effort to organize this Zoom meeting. I know it's not easy, but our honorable special advisor talked about some of the laudable programs that our president has done in terms of student loan, consumer credit, housing development, power sector. But I wanted him to tell us what they are doing about this immigration in terms of the passport renewal, because I've had some elderly women. I've been trying to help them. I think I put it on the platform about, I don't know, the Minister of Internal Affairs. He said everything is rosy, it's all right, but things, my elderly moms, aunties, they've been coming back to me, and they seem to be having a problem about the server. After we've congratulated them for a very good work, because they said you just apply, you get it, and everybody congratulated all the platforms. I sent it to all the platforms I'm engaged with in this country. I live in Hertfordshire, England, but they still having problem with the server. Is it to do with the power sector? Why is the server having problem? Because I think when they started...
Thank you so very much, sir. I think your 1 minute time is up. Thank you so very much. I think your question is well documented, so to be passed on to them. Thank you so very much. The next person in line is Olateju Olujile Alabi. Please put your video on, and 1 minute, please. 1 minute. Thank you very much. Okay, if it's not ready, can we go to Galaxy S20 5G? Again, we want your video on, and please ensure that you don't go beyond 1 minute. Galaxy S20 FE 5G. Thank you.
You are muted, please, ma'am. You are muted, Mr. Galaxy, and we need your name as well. and she's muted, and then we might need to move on, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I think next in line would be Ogedengbe Mohammed. Ogedengbe Mohammed, please put your video on and speak to us on your question. Thank you very much. 1 minute, please, everybody. Ogedengbe Mohammed.
Good evening, sir. I'm happy to join you on this platform.
Thank you very much.
Ajuri Ngelale, though I've sent my question to him personally on his X account, but no response. Thank God for this platform. What I have to ask is this: if you help us tell Mr. President or ask him, like 2 years ago under the past administration, a bill abrogating of abrogation of dichotomy between HND and first degree was passed by the last National Assembly, as in National Assembly, the past National Assembly. They passed the bill, and the bill was transmitted to former President Buhari. But till when the administration heard, he was unable to assent the bill. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has inherited the bill now, and we have yet to hear anything about the bill. And the nation, we are anxiously waiting for his assent on the bill. When the bill is passed, it should be, Nigerian Polytechnic Commission should be created and gazetted so that
Oh, it looks like it's a network issue there as well. Thank you so very much, sir. Yeah, I think your question so far is noted, and it will be passed on to him. I think Olateju Olajare Alabi said she's back on, that we should unmute her. I think she was claiming that we didn't unmute her, so if we can just do that quickly now. And I need to let us know that the moment you start talking, the countdown begins, and when that 1 minute is done, the mic automatically goes off. So it's not as if anybody is unmuting anybody. It is timed already. You have only 1 minute. So if you don't ask your question, if that 1 minute comes, the system automatically unmutes you. So thank you very much. Can we please unmute Olateju Olujare Alabi, please?
Yes, I've been unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I really don't have a question. I just want to contribute a little, especially on the issue of consumer credit. If we actually go to get our program right, I'm actually sending this one to Chief Ajuri to find a way to have a policy on our addressing system in Nigeria. That's number one. Number two, I'm a telecom profession, and the issue of having network here, network there all the time. We have a license that has been given to Globalcom and MTN Nigeria for broadband. I think Asuaju need to revisit that so that we can get all this problem of network issue resolved in Nigeria. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate that. I think the next in line is Reverend Sam Adewumi. Reverend Sam Adewumi, you have 1 minute. Thank you very much. Please unmute yourself and turn on your video. Thank you.
Thank you, Barrister. I want to say a huge thanks to Chief Ngelale for coming to brief us about the strides that the new administration of Ashwaju is making. It is indeed a good time to be a Nigerian and to be alive. My question is this: it is often said that nations are not great of their virtue. We are an erosion of value system over so many years of maladministration is a big issue in Nigeria at the moment. A few weeks ago, I had the current Minister of Communications and Information, Alhaji Idris Malagi, talk about the plan of the current administration of Ashwaju to launch a national orientation, a national value orientation, movement officially. It was at the time that the president was in France. I don't know whether this has been launched officially, and what I want to ask is from Chief Ngelale is whether we might have missed it along the line, whether this launching officially has happened in line with a national value orientation movement, that we've had in the past. It would be a good time for us to have that in order to drive the followership behind the leadership so that Nigeria can be a country.
Thank you so very much. It looks like your 1 minute is up as well. Thank you for your contribution. It will be passed on to Chief Ajuri Ngelale. Next in line will be Saad. Saad, you have the floor now. Please put on your video and unmute yourself. Again, you have 1 minute. The moment that 1 minute goes, you'll be automatically muted. So please make sure you get your question in within that 1 minute. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. My name is Saad. I'm calling from United Kingdom. My question is about sustainability of this infrastructure. The chief has said, how sustainable, are those infrastructure going to be? Are they going to be for 50 years, 30 years, 10 years, or the erosion will take everything away? For instance, road. Then another issue is about standard. There is no standard in most things in Nigeria. Schools, see where they kidnapped the children recently in Kaduna at the school. Can the federal government set a standard for classrooms to be built in Nigeria? And that's my serious question, because most of these governors are not utilizing our money productively. They build a charter, a very weird down schools or primary school or secondary school. When the rain fall or whatever, the roof will disappear. That's another one. And
thank you very much. It looks like your 1 minute again is up. Thank you very much for your contribution. It will be passed on to them. Next in line will be Kunle's iPhone. Kunle's iPhone. Please unmute yourself and put on your video. Like I said, you have 1 minute. Make sure you encapsulate your question into that 1 minute so that you don't get turned off before you make your point. Thank you so very much. Kunle's iPhone, you have the floor now. Okay, if Kunle's iPhone is not there, we have Galaxy S9 Plus. Please put on your video and unmute yourself. You have 1 minute again. It's like I said. And just try and ask your question within that 1 minute. Galaxy S9 Plus. You have the floor now. Thank you. Okay. Moving on swiftly. Now it's the turn of Architect Kehinde Oluremi. Architect Kehinde Oluremi, you have the floor now. 1 minute. Please unmute yourself and put on your video. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, the organizer, for organizing this wonderful town hall discussion with President. I think the man is representing the President here. So I'm thinking, we're talking to President Tinubu directly through it.
Yes.
My question goes this. It seems that when they make policy in Nigeria, you don't think of people in diaspora. You only think of people within Nigeria. The recent Minister for Interior Affairs made emphasis on the policy of having NIN to get a passport, for Nigerian passport, knowing fully well that children born under 2 years cannot thumbprint and get NIN. It means all Nigerian children born outside Nigeria without going back to Nigeria cannot get a passport, because not in everywhere is provided for us to do this NIN thumbprinting like in Russia here. We don't have it.
In most other countries, we don't have the ability to do it. It means our children cannot go back to Nigeria. They cannot obtain a passport. They are not Nigerian. Must they go to Nigeria and be in Nigeria to be a Nigerian? No. The minister should have thought properly. Consult people, maybe in diaspora somewhere, before making such a policy. Think of those in diaspora. Millions of Nigerians cannot renew their passport because they cannot do NIN. So I would want the minister, the president, to please invite the minister and talk to him on proper identification of problems before making policies. Policy made is not only for people in Nigeria, for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for being very brief. That's brilliant. Next in line is Waterfall for All. I didn't skip you. It wasn't your turn yet, so it is now your turn. Waterfall for All. You have the floor now. Please unmute yourself and put your video on.
Okay, I'm on. My name is Moshood Leshi. I am in Houston, Texas. Thank you all participants on this program for putting the program together. I'll go straight to my question. My question is, we have a lot of professionals and technocrats in the diaspora who are willing to make meaningful contribution to the country. I want to know if there are some plans in place to accommodate and provide enabling environment for those professionals to be able to make gains for the efforts that the government is actually putting in place so that we can collaboratively improve our lot. That would be my question for now. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I think next in line is iPhone. iPhone, you have the floor now. Please mute yourself and put on your video. Thank you very much. iPhone, are you still there? Okay, we're moving on now. Thank you very much. I think the next in line is Alhaji Adekule Sakib. Alhaji Adekule Sakib, you have the floor now. Please unmute yourself and put on your video. You have 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this organizing this meeting. My point is not just a question. It's about the passport. So one of the speakers already said it before the current one spoke. In New York City, a lot of people are suffering to get the passport renewed. People come from Texas.
Uh-oh. It looks like it's frozen out. Okay, let us move on swiftly. We may come back to, I think that's Sakib, right? We may come back to you later on. Thank you so very much. I think the next in line will be Otumba Eric Ayola. Otumba Eric Ayola, please put on your video and unmute yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Adebola. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, David.
Yeah. So two quick things. Firstly, it's about security, because I think one of the main impediments to, let's say, even diasporans or bringing investment to the country, and of course, for people living in Nigeria, security. So my question to dear President, through Chief Ajuri, is about state police. When is that going to come into effect? I think it's high time to solve that aberration of Nigeria being the only federally run country in the world where there's a centralized police force. We are the only one. Anyone can try to prove me wrong. Secondly, it's about projection and promotion of good and positive news. My proposal on the table, which Honorable Adebola, one of our brainstorming, is the fact that the president and his spokesman or spokespeople cannot do it alone. So I'm proposing that the presidency should look at actually encouraging, employing, if you want, and I don't mean in terms of payment, an army of Nigerians, patriotic Nigerians around the globe who would serve as promoters of positivity of our country, Nigeria. Too many bad news, a lot of good news, which is going unheard. So we do need to have an army of people spread across the various countries of the world to promote a positive image of Nigeria. And I think that should be given very utmost consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the man coming on next week, some of the things you're saying now might come under his purview. So if you try to join us and throw that question to him, I'm sure he'll be able to answer you. 5 o'clock on Saturday next week is a date. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Next in line is Alhaji Adekunle. Alhaji Adekunle, you have the floor now. Please turn on your video and unmute yourself. Alhaji Adekunle. Okay, let's move on. Next in line is Ayo Bello. Ayo Bello, you have the floor now. Please unmute yourself and turn on your video. 1 minute to go. Thank you very much. Do we have Ayo Bello there? Okay, we move on now. One of our elders from South Africa, Engineer Bola Babanide, you have the floor now, sir. Your video, well, you know the drill. So your video on and please unmute yourself, sir. Thank you very much. Is Honorable Babanide still with us? Okay, let's move on to Honorable Ajimi Jere from Russia. Honorable Ajimi Jere from Russia, you have the floor now, sir. Just get your video on and unmute yourself.
Thank you, my honorable host, Barrister JK, and the co-host. And I also want to thank, on behalf of the House, the honorable spokesperson of the president for taking out of his time to join us. Briefly, I want to quickly, for some area where people normally ask or a question, you talk about the student loan. A lot of students have this process, but they don't know how to go with the process. Some of them don't know how to go with the process. The second thing is concerning the Nigerians back home, the commodity issues. We want the president to quick look into it because the Nigerians marketers are taking advantage of the citizens to sell any amount for them. And the thirdly is concern our steel company in Ajokuta. How are they looking into this thing? When is it going to be starting up in time so that it can help the country on generation and employ of the country? Small, but I will stop here quickly. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. As I know, I speak from Russia.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for keeping to time. That's commendable. Tolulokpe Olugbide now has the floor now. Tolulokpe Olugbide, 1 minute, your video on and unmute yourself, please.
Good evening, sir. Honorable Adebola. And yes, good evening, everyone who's organized this program. Thank you for having me. My question to the advisor, Ajuri Ngelale, is this. My name, like I said, my name is Tolulokpe Olugbide, and I work in the UK as a social worker. We have a disturbing number of children in care from our community at the moment, and it's an epidemic that we believe that the president's attention should be turned into. And my question to the special advisor is, what's the president's plan on creating a functioning children and adult services in all local governments in Nigeria? Because if we don't, mitigate this problem, our children are just going to continue in the care system in the UK, and that is very detrimental to families. So we want, urgent attention to be paid to this. I'm also the secretary to an organization, association under KANUK, which is the Association of Nigerians in the Healthcare and Social Care UK. So we urgently need to have your attention on this matter. Many thanks.
Thank you so very much, madam. I think it's well noted, and it will be passed on to the presidency for them to take action on it. Next in line, I think I've called Tolulokpe Olugbide earlier. Yeah, okay. Techno Spark 7. You have the floor now, sir. Techno Spark 7. Unmute yourself and put your video on, please. Is Techno Spark 7 still with us? Okay, if not, let's move on swiftly. I'll go to Mommy Deborah Fatogun. Mommy Deborah Fatogun, you have the floor now. Please unmute yourself and put on your video. Thank you very much, ma'am. Is Mommy Fatogun, Deborah Fatogun still with us? Okay, if not, then we'll move on
here.
to...
I'm here.
Okay, okay, ma'am. You have the floor now. 1 minute.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
My question is that we in diaspora have a sideline in the governance of Nigeria. Does it mean we are not capable or that we did not perform enough during the campaign to be recognized? Then my second one is that the Minister of Works announced some roads to be repaired in Nigeria recently, but he entirely forgot the area of Ondo North, the one especially from Owo to Imeri, to Idoani, to Ifira, to Lokoja, to Abuja, is totally not mentioned. And the road is impassable. I just want to bring to the attention of the House that this road leads to Idoani, where the highly celebrated gynecologist, Professor Olutoye Oluyinka, came from. And if nothing else, I think it can be done for him as a matter of respect. The last time he came home in September.
Thank you very much, Ma. It looks like your 1 minute is up, so the system has triggered up. Thank you so very much. Your contribution will be sent to the presidency. Thank you so very much. And next in line is in Phoenix Hot 121. In Phoenix Hot 121, you have the floor now. Please engage your video and unmute yourself. You have 1 minute.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
I'd like to give my heart for this platform for engaging on this man. I'm the editor-in-chief of Publicity. I'm the country manager here in Lagos, Nigeria. I'd like to commend the spokesperson for the presidency, Chief Ajuri Ngelale, to have some of the reforms that are in the country. However, to are actually sidelined. Some of the support systems that is on across the banking sector is not reflective in the efforts of the SMEs. They are the drivers of the economy. So that they can help drive the economy better. And most especially, most of our idle youth belong to this class. I'm a tech enthusiast, and a couple of people around me too are tech driven. But the jackpot system syndrome has actually taken the life out of some of those things that the youth are supposed to be enjoying in the country. So there's a need for the presidency to do more. Aside from student loans, there are people who are skilled and unskilled youths who are roaming the streets, seeking for so that drive their ideas and move the entrepreneurial capacity of Nigeria to a greater level. So something has to be done about that. And lastly, I don't think it is well for APC UK, a couple of people who have done a lot of the president to attempt into.
Thank you so very much for your contribution. Again, because your time is up, there's very little we can do. I think next in line now is APC UAE Falola. APC UAE Falola, you have the floor now. Put your video on and unmute yourself. Dr. Aisa Gbadabiamila should be ready, please. APC UAE Falola, are you still there? Very well. We'll move on then to Dr. Aishat Gbadabiamila. You have the floor now, ma'am. You have 1 minute. Your video on and unmute yourself, please.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'd like to commend the organizers of this event and the spokesperson of the president. Well done for all your hard work. Right. I think I had 3 questions. 2 of my questions have already been asked, which is in the line of, people just putting prices on items in Nigeria. I think they have to really, really work on this. It's just a suggestion to the presidency that there should be price fixing, and people should not have the right to just put any price on items, because that's been a big issue. And then there's the other one of the diasporans. I believe diasporans contributed a lot to the Asiwaju success story in being president. And I feel like diasporans has just been sidelined in this new administration. I know it's just literally not even up to a year, but I believe we have I'm a clinical consultant pharmacist in the UK. We've got healthcare professionals. We've got people in different professions in diaspora that really, really equate and can contribute effectively to the Nigerian economy. So what exactly do we have in place? What's the plan for diasporans? We all worked hard. Even though we're not allowed to vote, we went back to Nigeria and voted. So we need to be carried along. Is there any plan in place for us as diasporans? Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. You make some valid points there, and I'm sure the presidency will look into it. Next in line is iPhone. iPhone, please unmute yourself and put on your video. iPhone, you have the floor now.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. I'm speaking from UK, England, precisely. My question is twofold. One is about our high commissions around the world. I've been privy to be at one in the Caribbean and even here in UK. I found that our facilities need to be upgraded, including the staff probably working there. At least they need some training to be able to engage applicants very well. And additional to that, there has to be a kind of access for people with disability, like elderly people and probably women that are having their bogging all around, because I can see some people struggling to be carrying the bogging onto the staircase. I think they need to look into that. The second one is our relationship with the Caribbean. Is the government making any effort to link Nigeria with the Caribbean? Because I remember during the last administration, the Minister of Foreign Affairs then, Geoffrey Oyema, was in Jamaica and promising that there will be a direct flight, possibly from Nigeria to the part of the Caribbean, because I understand that many Nigerians are living in the Caribbean and they have to probably travel to Nigeria forth and back through either England, Europe, or some other part of the world. I think they need to look into this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for being so very, very brief. Your question will be sent to the presidency, of course. Next in line will be Galaxy A03. Galaxy A03, please put on your video and unmute yourself. You have 1 minute. Thank you. Galaxy A03. Okay, next in line is Femi Falola. Femi Falola, you have the floor now. Your video on and please unmute yourself. You have 1 minute. Thank you. Okay, it looks like Femi Falola is not here. We'll move on to Akim's S23 Ultra. Akim's S23 Ultra. You have the floor now. Yeah, thank you very much.
Hi, my name is David. I'm from Manchester. I want to congratulate the people that made this possible today. Honorable Adebola and his team. This is fantastic. It's great for all of us. Just a quick one in terms of a question for the federal government. in this part of the world, we have programs whereby the youths who don't go to universities are given work through apprenticeships. Is that something that they're thinking of doing in Nigeria? Obviously, I was listening to the consumer credits and other things in terms of that, but for youth empowerment and the fact that obviously we're giving loans to people who want to go to university now, will there be things like apprenticeships in Nigeria as well, support other people who come from backgrounds that cannot afford to go into university? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. It's well noted. Next in line is Dr. Adeola Adeleye Fasuba. Dr. Adeola Adeleye Fasuba, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much, and good day to everyone.
Yep.
I'll say all protocols duly observed. I am the Director General for Ekiti Diaspora Relations, the pioneer to come into such a position, and it's a laudable move by Governor Abiodun Abayomi Oyebanjo of Ekiti State to appoint a diasporan into such. It's a direct answer to the call made by diasporans for someone who's a diasporan. I've been a diasporan for over 32 years, and I'm actually calling in today from a little village called Penn near Birmingham in the UK to occupy that position. I appreciate the perceptions, emotions, and some has been actually displayed today in this room from diasporans wanting to get involved in government, wanting to get involved in the day-to-day activities of how things apply to them, and feeling as if they've been ostracized, they've been moved aside. And I would really like to ask our guest today to look into this, to use his good office to do something about this. We've talked about diaspora voting for a long time. It is very due. People are having to travel down to Nigeria to vote. But still, they're not as involved as they should be. We are very interested in what's happening back home. We're interested in the area of investment. A lot of money is sent through the diaspora on a yearly basis. And it's as if we're not involved. We're not involved enough. We're not remembered enough. There should be diaspora and desk offices at the federal ministries. We're interested in the security back home, tourism, agriculture. Investments will be affected by what's happening with security. So all these are things that I would really like to take forward from today, as is happening in Ekiti at the moment. Our governor is very interested in what's happening in the state, is being very proactive, and we would like to see that reflected across the country. Diasporans being representatives for the diasporans that they're involved with. So yes, this is what we'd like to take across today. And thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you to the organizers. You've really done well.
Thank you very much, madam. Your point is well noted. The first point you make, I can say for free that Chief Ajuri Ngelale is well aware, because when I met with him about 3 weeks ago at the villa, those are part of the things that he discussed with her. In fact, he was the one that brought the issue up. So I'm sure it will be looked into at some point very soon. So watch this space. Next in line is Ola Agumbiade. Ola Agumbiade, you have the floor now. Your video on, please, and please unmute yourself. Thank you. Ola Agumbiade. Okay, if it's not there, then Kunle's iPhone 2. Kunle's iPhone 2.
Ola Agumbiade online.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, Ola Agumbiade from US, Minnesota, US. Yeah, thank you very much, and I appreciate all the who organized this platform. Yeah, my point is that the issue I advise, and I want the federal government to really place much effort and active on, is the issue of the electrification of Nigeria. Because without electricity, we are just deceiving ourselves. The basis and fundamental of our growth should depend solely on the electricity. And the government should put all its efforts on making sure we really tap into the energy resources we have in our place. Because if we don't develop our electricity, we are just backing on the same page. We need, because even for the youth and the kids who are governors all over the streets, if we are able to tap and develop our electricity, they will have more gainful employment. Then we need to integrate our road infrastructure with the farmlands so that all their produce will be easily accessed to the market and the populace. And for them to do this, they also need electricity to make them more productive. So all what we are still talking about is for us to really develop our electricity. Electrification is what the France used to develop, what the Soviet Union used to develop, Americans used to develop. So our effort is to tell our government, if we are going to make a whole year to concentrate on electricity development, let us do it. Nigeria will be great. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir, for your contribution. Like I said, every contribution will be sent to the presidency, and you can be rest assured that some response will be forthcoming from there. Thank you very much. We're moving on swiftly to ITEL S663L. ITEL S663L.
You ask
Mr. Moderator.
Hello.
Hello, yeah.
Yeah. Good evening.
Mr. Moderator, we just called
iPhone
earlier.
To get ready, sir, before iTel.
Okay.
You said what? You said what?
You asked iPhone 2 to get
apologies. Yeah, I remembered now. Apology. Sorry, ITEL S663L. Please hang on a minute. I asked somebody else to hang on earlier on, and I seem to have missed that. And that's Kunle's iPhone 2. Kunle's iPhone 2. You have the floor now. ITEL S663. Please be on standby. Thank you very much. Apologies to Kule iPhone 2, please. Apologies.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. My name is Femi Drudola.
And
I want to first of all thank the brain behind these activities. Has been impressive so far, and I can really commend the kind of questions and contributions that are coming from people. And secondly, I want to thank the presidential spokesperson. Unfortunately, we cannot get him along up to this level. Coming back to my own question, the first aspect is going to be a contribution in terms of commending the Mr. President for signing into law the student finance loan that took place recently. And the follow-up question I want to make on that is that somebody spoke on the modalities, the workings of that student finance loan, which is not yet clear to majority of Nigerian students how to go about reporting. I believe that has to be simplified for people to really. In terms of further social intervention, I wonder as the Renew Hope agenda in terms of social intervention for other people like the senior citizen in the country, kind of benefit that is being given, especially in other advanced economy, places like United Kingdom, Sweden, welfare arrangement for people. So I'm not too clear about this. If there is none, I believe these are the things that will benefit the majority of our citizenry, the old, even the young, women, and the rest of them, particularly the less privileged people, in terms of people that we call how do I put it? People who are not up to the standard of normal human being in life. So I wonder if government has really have a social intervention for this kind of people in their welfare program. This is my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And
I'm calling from Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay, and once more apologies for the error earlier on. It wasn't intentional. You can bet your last dollar on that one. Thank you so very much, sir.
No.
Next in line is
welcome, sir.
Next in line is ITEL S663L. TechnoSpark 7, please be on standby. ITEL S663L. You have the floor now. Your video on, please. Okay, we have to move on from there.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, sir.
Okay, good evening.
Yeah, my name is Mojid from Ikorodu in Lagos.
Okay.
And my point here is actually maybe like a suggestion. Unfortunately, the last speaker spoke my mind, because I was looking at it from year 2023 statistics, going by the world record that says Nigeria is second largest poor population. I mean, in terms of our statistics, we rank about second largest poor population. And so I was thinking the federal government, I mean, talking about PBAT, immediately assumed office. Much attention ought to be devoted to that teeming population, ranking about 87 million Nigerians, feeding below, what's it called, $0.50 or $2 a day. So the last caller has actually spoken everything, sincerely, talking about the Federal Social Investment Program that ought to have been put in place. Not all the capitalist policy directives that we are having, removal of subsidy here, the oil and gas, and every other thing. So I don't need to waste much of our time, because the last caller actually expanded it beyond what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for being very, very brief and straight to the point. Again, every question will be passed on to the presidency, and I can guarantee you a response will be gotten at some point. Thank you so very much. We have two more people now to speak, after which we'll close this this segment. The next in line is TechnoSpark 7, while Galaxy A03 should be on standby. TechnoSpark 7, you have the floor now. Please put on your video, please. Thank you. TechnoSpark 7. Okay, if TechnoSpark 7 is now forthcoming, let's go to Galaxy A03. Galaxy A03, you are last speaker tonight, and you have the floor now. Please put on your video, and that doesn't extend your time beyond 1 minute. I have to say that. Thank you very much. You have only 1 minute. Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
I want to use this opportunity to appreciate the president and the organizer of this program. So I have two things to say briefly. One is about youth empowerment. Most of the youth are not working. And for us to really tackle crime rates in Nigeria, the youth need to be empowered. The second contribution is about our educational system. Now, I am an expert in both British and Nigeria curriculum. I can give a lot of reasons why our curriculum is not working. In our curriculum, one, the subjects are too many. And two, our curriculum, there's no much creativity and innovation in our curriculum that will enable these pupils and students to discover themselves. So I believe if the president can look into the curriculum, and the environment, the school environment is not very conducive for learning, for effective learning and learners discovering themselves. Because if you look at the 21st century learning and teaching is about the student discovering themselves. So I believe the president should look into the curriculum. If we can reduce the subject, make sure that the curriculum has more innovative creativity that will enable them to discover themselves. I believe Nigeria will be great again in Jesus' name.
Thank you so very much especially for ending it with a prayer. I really like that. Thank you so very much, and I believe that Nigeria will be great again, like you said. That's been our prayer all along. Thank you so much, and I wish to thank every participant here, those who asked questions and those who didn't, because on my count here we had about 38 questions, and all of which will be sent to the president via his spokesman, who unfortunately had to drop out due to technical hitches. But then he has promised us that he's gonna come back. So which means there will be a part 3 of his own segment alone. I think that makes us very lucky, because since we started this virtual conference, we've never had one of a government official come to us 3 times. But he has promised he will come back the 3rd time. So watch out for part 3. That will be happening very soon. And like I said earlier at the beginning, this renewed hope virtual conference will be coming to you live every Saturday now. For next Saturday, we have lined up the Director General of the National Orientation Agency in the person of Malam Isa Onilu. He will be joining us here on Saturday next week from 5 to 7. And that next Saturday, I'll be announcing who will be coming after him. But rest assured, and keep your Saturdays free for this conference, because this is perhaps the best avenue for those of us in diaspora to be able to have that close interactions with people in government, and that is the reason why we are doing what we are doing. So that, especially because I don't know about you, I have noticed that President Tinubu is perhaps the most engaging president we've ever had in Nigeria. I say that with no excuse at all, because he seems to be a very listening government. And I think in one of my virtual conference hosting, I made an allusion to the fact that I see him as the most prepared president we've ever had. Apart from perhaps Awolowo, who never got there, who at that time seemed very prepared for the job, President Bola Tinubu now seems to be perhaps the only well-prepared president who, before he became president, he knew what he was going to do, because he's very, if you have sat with him, you know that he's very vast in the problems of Nigeria. And not only that, he knows what to do to solve the problems. And we've seen since the very first day he assumed office, most of the steps he's been taking have been top-notch. Where he made mistakes, which he himself agreed that, yes, as human, he's prone to making mistakes. But then he said in making those mistakes, he's ready to make amends and move on. And he has proved that time and time over. So for me, he seems right. He seems the man born for this moment for our country. And I think what we just need to do is to continue to support this government moving forward, so that at the end of the day, the Nigeria of our dreams will be realized. Because nothing will gladden my heart better than to bequeath a prosperous Nigeria, a progressive Nigeria, to my children and my children's children, so that I can at least beat my chest and say, yes, I contributed to this in my own little way, just like every one of us are contributing by participating in a program like this, because that is what you are doing. You are contributing your own little quota to the development of our fatherland. It looks like we have somebody has their hand up now. Dr. Emo, I'm not sure whether you've just joined us now. We've given everybody just 1 minute, and you will have 1 minute now, and I won't take any more questions after this because we need to close. Just 1 minute, because we are 2 hours 10 minutes now. Just 1 minute, and please put on your video. So this will be the last question. Thank you very much, Dr. Emo. Dr. Emo, are you still there? Okay. So I guess that's it for now. For today. Once again, I have to.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. I said that I'm one of the managing directors here, a corporate managing director. So what we do every 6 months, I'm talking about education. We bring companies to the school and they educate kids what the current practices about work, whatever discipline you belong, you will educate the kids every 6 months. We do it every 6 months. Okay, that's an invitation. It's a part of our curriculum development. Okay. Then number two is I was listening to Disco chairman, I think Ato Eze. He was saying that they are not getting enough gas to supply electricity. That they were supposed to be giving 800 and something watts every month, every day. But they got only 180. Because of that, they could not supply all the grids. So what I'm trying to say is that our president is very dynamic, okay? I like him. He can look at, the internal control to see who is not meeting up their responsibilities. Because if they cannot supply enough gas, the instability of electricity will continue. And like the other guy said, he said without electricity, there's nothing we can do. So these two things I'm trying to add to you. Every 6 months, get all the corporations and everything, different disciplines. They come to the school and review all the students that are doing that program. We review it and see what they are not doing that we can add to the curriculum. So that's what we do for curriculum development. And it's all the directors that we come, okay? It doesn't cost much. It's a part of community development. Sometimes they give us like a token fee. It's not like, because you cannot bribe them so that they can be honest. You give them like a token fee, just like, something, just like a little thing that doesn't cost much, because you don't want it to be something that people will be doing. They try to make up something to make profit. It have to be voluntary. So I have been doing it in one of the institutions in Houston. So I know pretty much about that. That will help to develop the kids, because when the kids are coming out from graduation, okay, they know the materials, they know the current practices. So getting employment will be easy for them. And from there, you can work also, a technology transfer, because sometimes we have so many expatriates working because our kids cannot do very much. So this is how we are solving the problem here. I do that in Houston. Okay, so that's what I have to say, my brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for that closing question. It's been wonderful, having everybody here on board today. And if you ask me, I wouldn't want this to end. Maybe we'll go one more hour, but because of time constraints, we have to pull everything down to at the end of the day now. But before I go, I just need to reiterate to us that Chief Ajuri Ngelale, the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, has promised us that he will come back again the third time, because we had some kind of technical hitch with him, that he dropped out, and he just sent a private message to us, and that he will honor his promise that he made whilst he was talking. That it was as if he had a premonition that this will happen when he made that promise, that he would like to have a part 3 with us, because there are so many other questions that he would have dealt with, but because of time. So watch out for part 3. That will not be next week. What we will be doing next week will be bringing the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Malam Issa Onilu, will be coming here next Saturday from 5 to 7. But and like I said earlier on, we'll endeavor to make this a weekly event, which will be coming up every Saturday. So please keep your diary free for us every Saturday from 5 to 7. Depending on the availability of the government official that we bring in, it could be 5 to 7, it could be 4 to 7. But suffice it to say that if you can just keep your 4 to 7 free on Saturdays, we will be coming to you live, God's willing, so that we can all have a one-to-one with the people in government, so that at least let them keep us abreast of what they are doing and what they are planning to do for us, to make the country better for every one of us, because I believe those of us in diaspora, we want nothing more than a very prosperous Nigeria. So that is what we are here to do, so that we will bring them to us and they will talk to us, and you too, you throw whatever questions you have at them. That's the purpose of this virtual conference. So thank you so very much for being part of us. I can see Professor Adeshegun Labinjo, the chairman, APC USA. Thank you so very much for being part of us. My lieutenant, High Chief Chris Onumonutu. Thank you so very much. You guys have been the backbone for us. Our papa from Southwest, Honorable Kenny Odutalayo. Thank you very much for being part of this for this program. You are all welcome and you are all cherished. Next week, Saturday, it is confirmed that the Director General, National Orientation Agency, Malam Issa Onilu, will be joining us from 5 to 7 on Saturday. Let's make it a date. If you have any question, we'll do just like we did today. Everybody will have at least 1 minute to be able to fill their question. Just make sure you put it down, you write it down, so that by the time you are given the floor to talk, you utilize that your 1 minute to make sure that you throw the punchline, so that our special guest will be able to note it down and to give you answers. Thank you so very much. You are all. We appreciate you, because every time we call upon you, no matter how late, you always oblige us, and that's we don't take we don't take lightly. Thank you so very much. And again, my name is Joseph Kolawole Adebola. Thank you for so very much. I and my team will be inviting you again tomorrow. Next week Saturday, God's willing, and so that we can have another interesting and beautiful time together. Thank you so much. See you next Saturday.
Barrister.
Baba Mio.
That's well organized. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being part of us as always. Thank you so very much.
My pleasure. All the best.
All right, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Bye,
Thank
sir.
you.
Bye.
I can stop recording so that you can.
Well done, Barrister.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. You still on the road?
Yes.
Now wow. We don't finish. Some people still come Wabego. Huh?
Let them stop.
You say what?
Let them stop recording.
Okay.
Stop recording. We can still hang out on the Zoom, but so that the recording will not.
Let me